Over the years, there have been so many Pokemon Special Edition systems that have come out, and in today's video, what I wanted to do was I wanted to sit back, relax, and go through the very best Pokemon Special Edition systems that have ever released. So for this video, I have picked out my top 5 favorite Pokemon Special Editions of all time, which we will go through shortly. But before we do that, I do just want to quickly shout out a few systems that are still amazing, but didn't quite make the cut for this video. So for this, we have got the Pokemon Edition Game Boy Color, we have the Latios and Latias Edition Game Boy Advance, which in my opinion has one of the coolest color schemes out of any Game Boy Advance ever made. We have the Groudon Edition Game Boy Advance SP, and we have what I like to call the Pikachu Face Editions, which includes the Pikachu Edition Game Boy Advance SP, the Pikachu Edition 3DS XL, and the Pikachu Edition New 2DS XL. These are all amazing systems, but in my opinion, they are not as cool as the 5 that we are about to go through, so without further delay, let's get into it. In the number 5 spot, we have got the Pokemon Center New York Gold Pikachu Game Boy Advance, and this is a really cool system in my opinion, as it launched alongside the opening of the first Pokemon Center store in New York all the way back in November of 2001. And as you can see, the outer shell of this system is that nice, vibrant gold color, which just looks absolutely amazing. If you've seen any of my previous videos on Nintendo's Special Edition systems, you would already know by now that I absolutely love pretty much all gold Nintendo Special Editions. They just all look amazing, and this is definitely no exception here. Alongside this, there is also a bunch of Pokemon insignia across the system. So in the top right corner, you have got the Pokemon logo, and then below the screen on the left and right hand sides of the Game Boy Advance logo, you have a silhouette of a Pichu on the left and a silhouette of Pikachu on the right. And the only other major thing of note on this system is the Pokemon Center New York stamp above the screen. Other than that, there's not really too much else different with this system versus just a regular Game Boy Advance, but I really like this system. I think it's got a great design, a great color scheme, and it's got a lot of history behind it with being associated with the opening of the first Pokemon Center store in New York. So overall, I think this one's pretty cool. In the number 4 spot, we have got the Pikachu Edition Nintendo 64. Now, there were actually a few different Pokemon Edition Nintendo 64s, but this one is definitely the best of the bunch, and that is because this is one of the very few Special Edition systems that has actually resulted in a bit of a redesign of the console itself, which is really cool and really unique. So with this system, the Pikachu on the right has a few fun features. So for example, when the system is turned on, the Pikachu's cheeks actually glow red, and as well as that, the Pikachu's left foot is actually the reset button, and then the power button on the system has been replaced with a Pokeball, and I don't know, I just think that's really cute and really fun. And in addition to this, the overall color scheme with that blue and yellow pattern just brings out so much nostalgia for me, having grown up with Pokemon, so I really love that as well. I just think this design is so much fun, and considering this is on a Nintendo 64 is actually wild, because at the time this came out, a Special Edition design like this was just completely unheard of, and honestly, we haven't seen anything quite like this since either. So this one really stands out in Nintendo's Special Edition library and is definitely one of the best Pokemon Special Editions of all time. In the number 3 spot, we have got the Pokeball Edition New Nintendo 2DS XL, and I actually talked about this system a couple of months ago in my The Good, the Bad, the Ugly video, where I went through every Special Edition system for the new Nintendo 2DS XL, and since I've made that video, I think my opinion of this system has changed a lot. From memory, I put this system in the good, but I think if I were to make that video again, I would put this system in the God tier, because it really is the perfect Pokeball Edition system. I don't think there's anything you can really add to this to make it better than it already is. And of course, the coolest feature of this system is that the button on the outer shell actually presses down, which is a cool feature about pretty much all of the new Nintendo 2DS XL Special Editions. They all have these really cool designs that kind of jut out of the system and play with the 3D space a lot more than any other special editions Nintendo has ever made. And this one's little gimmick is, as I mentioned, the fact that you can press down on the little button in the middle of the Pokeball, which is really cool. But other than that, it's just a classic Pokeball design on a new Nintendo 2DS XL. In the number 2 spot, we have got the Charizard Edition 3DS XL. This system has an awesome black and gold color scheme with a massive portrait of Charizard on the front of the outer plate, and I think this artwork of Charizard just looks really awesome. And I don't know what it is about the color scheme, because obviously Charizard's main color is orange and there's literally none of that here, but for whatever reason, this black and gold design works really well with Charizard despite there being no orange, and I think it just gives it a really premium feel. However, the coolest part about this design is not necessarily the artwork on the front here, but it's actually how the artwork on the bottom plate plays into this design. So when you open up the system, you can see that on the bottom plate there is a flame that adds on to this design on the front plate when it's folded out, and I just think this overall design looks absolutely amazing. In the number 1 spot, the very best Pokemon Special Edition design of all time, in my opinion that is, we have got the Pokemon X and Y Premium Gold Edition 3DS XL. Well, actually, I should say the 3DS LL, because this system only ever released in Japan, and it is an incredibly rare console. There were not many of these ever produced, and that is such a shame, because this is one of the greatest designs I have ever seen on a Nintendo Special Edition system. If I had to sum up this design in one word, it would be gorgeous. So this design uses a black and gold color scheme, and on the front plate here you have got a beautiful design of Xerneas on the left there with the 3 Gen 6 starter Pokemon on the right, and something about the design of the trees and all of the little leaves on it just looks really good. I'm no art expert, so I'm not entirely sure on what this style of art is called, but whatever it is, it looks amazing on a 3DS XL system. There's also a similar design on the underside of the system, but with Yveltal instead of Xerneas. So you've got Yveltal on the right hand side just chilling in the clouds, and then on the left you've just got the 3 Gen 6 starters again, and that's pretty much it for this system. I just think it uses an amazing and unique style of art that is so different from any of Nintendo's typical special edition designs, and it just makes it stand out so much, and I really wish I had one of these. So if someone could give me one, that would be really appreciated. Thank you. Anyways, that is it for today's video. It would be greatly appreciated if you could please hit that like button if you enjoyed it, and if you think there should have been a different Pokemon Special Edition system in the top 5 of all time, I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments section down below. There'll be a couple of my other videos on the screen right now to check out as well, and I'll see you guys with the next one. Bye bye.